I have a trade routine that I work off of, and the first part of that trade routine is to kind of do a quick analysis of what I did yesterday, especially on trades that didn't go the way I expected them to go. Last week, uh, uh, we only found one trade. It was a thick orange line trade for 5 pips. We took it and it closed. Here it is. Then the next part is I'd like to take a look at what news is coming up. News helps us. We are technical traders. The news helps us figure out um, uh, if there is an event that may impact a currency pair. As we're technical traders, we want to stay away from it. So let's take a look. We generally use the news feed from forexfactory.com. Forex Factory breaks the news items down into 3 categories, yellow, orange, and red. And it's really the red ones that tend to move the market. So scrolling down today's news items, we have consumer confidence from the United States being being released at 10 a.m. We're at 6:30 a.m. We have good 3.5 hours before we get there, so we could certainly take a thick orange line trade because that's a short scalp, and I expect that to close before we get to 10:30. We would have to take a look. If we had a 10-point trade using the US dollar, we'd have to think a little bit about if we think it would close before this 10 a.m. news item. And then scrolling down, that's it. So we got to worry about the dollar at 10 a.m. When we take a trade this morning. So with that, let's just go right to the chart. I've got 2 types of charts set up. One is what I call the composite chart, which basically lists a variety of pairs. And on those pairs, here, let's spread this out so we use the whole monitor. That lets us take a look for signals. We can scan across very, very, very quickly and see if we see a signal. Depending on what kind of trade it is, then I can go into the more detailed longitudinal chart that shows the one pair with different time periods and also a clean chart, so I can kind of take a look at support and resistance when I make my analysis. So here, let's start. We will start with doing the 10-point trade first, and then we'll go back and do the thick orange line trade as we get closer to the top of the hour. On the 10-point trade, I start with my majors and minors, and I am looking, which is the middle section here, and I want the majors and minors to either be oversold, which is below this red line, or overbought, which is above this blue line. If they are oversold, I want all the lines pointing up and double crossed. I don't have that here. They're oversold, but the majors are still pointing down. Here I am overbought on pound dollar, and they're pointing up. So I want them overbought and pointing down. I don't have that. Australian US dollar oversold, pointing down still. And probably for all of these pairs, since the US is in all of these pairs, we're going to have a pattern similar to this on all of them. But let's keep looking. Pound franc, dollar franc, oversold, overbought, pointing sideways. This is what we call a duck bill, because it looks like the head of a duck. You can put his eye right here, and here's his bill. This usually means it's going up more. Dollar yen, overbought, going up. Again, we get kind of the duck bill. It's got kind of a bigger bill here. And dollar Canadian, up, we're overbought, and going up. So nothing here for a 10-point trade. Let us go to our next group of majors. The only one that has the dollar here is the New Zealand dollar. But let's go down the list. Euro pound, oversold, pointing down. Oversold, pointing down. Euro Canadian, I'm in the middle of the channel and just about a little more than halfway. If it was under halfway, we'd think about it. And it looks like he's running out of gas because he's starting to go sideways. Australian New Zealand dollar, oversold and pointing down. New Zealand USD, oversold and pointing down. And Euro AUD, overbought and pointing up. So we're not doing well so far this morning. Here is a third group of pairs that I have. When we get this far into it, these are pairs I usually never trade. But in the interest of trying to find a trade, let's see what we've got. Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, oversold going down. Dollar Swiss franc, Swiss franc yen, oversold. These are pointing up, although they're sideways. They're not a steep slope, but they are pointing up. And I've got a double cross where I've got green on top and gray on top. So these are those are the first three indicators that I want on this trade. So I'm looking for oversold, pointing up and double crossed. I have that. Once I have that, then I move up to my TNTs, and I want to see how many of the lines are moving in the direction that's appropriate for this. So this is telling me we're going to have an up move. The two orange lines are going down. Oh, hold on, we got one of them change. Well, right now the two orange lines are going down. Orange lines going down means down. I've got the dotted blue going up. When dotted blue goes up, that means down, and I've got the thick blue coming down, that means up. So right now I only have one of the three telling me that there's an up move here. The thick orange is kind of thinking about changing. He keeps going back and forth, but even if we had him going up, we only have two of the four, so it's not enough. I need to have a minimum of 3 of the 4 signals. One of the keys here to being a good trader is high consistency. To get that high consistency, I want multiple indicators telling me that that a move is going to happen. And when I get that, I win more. I hit that 80 or 90% mark. Again, to be successful, you don't need to take a lot of trades. Yesterday I think I took 6 trades, and that's a lot. And 3 of the trades were hedges to protect against a trade that started to go the wrong way. So 3-4 trades a day, 10 to 30 pips a day. 30 pips a day, you're doubling your account every 4 months. So let's keep going. Euro yen, we're below. The minors are going up, but the majors aren't. When there's a difference between the majors and the minors, I'm going to pay attention to what the majors are doing. So the majors aren't going up yet, so I'm not interested in this. Pound, Australian dollar overbought and going up. New Zealand Swiss franc oversold. The minors are starting to turn. The majors aren't there yet. And Canadian Swiss franc, kind of in the middle of the channel. It's kind of a week in the middle of the channel because we've got the big bend in the green line here. Let's just take a look. It isn't quite halfway yet, so let's presume that we have the 3 points here, that they're overbought, they're going down, and I'm saying they're overbought because they haven't gone halfway through the channel, and or at least the majors haven't gone halfway through the channel. Minors are already gone to the other side of the channel. So let's count this as 3 points. I go up to my TNTs and I look for support. The 2 orange lines are going down, so that means down. That's good. The 2 blue lines are going up. That is good. That's 4 out of 4. I need a minimum of 3 out of 4, so I continue to the pressure indicator, and the pressure indicator, pressure is going up, but red just crossed over on top of green. So with red over green, that gives me a point. If the red hadn't crossed the green, I wouldn't have a point here. Without a point here, I've got no trade. So right now I've got 8 points. Even though this is a little weak, 8 points. What I want to do at this point is take a look at the CAD Swiss franc full chart and get an idea of what the trade might be worth. So I'm going to open up chart book. I know I've never traded the CAD Swiss franc, so let's actually, we'll just take this chart because this chart's all set up. So I'm going to take an existing chart and I'm going to convert it into a CAD Swiss franc. So I right click, I go to chart settings. Chart settings, by the way, on your charts, they should all be at 210010. 210010. Shouldn't be 22 here. If it's 22, you need to change it. 22 is standard time. We're on daylight savings time now. That happened a couple weeks ago. So right over here under symbol, I click find, and I am going to find CAD CHF right here. I click OK. I click, so it puts it in here. I click apply. It's going to change all my charts are linked, so it's going to change them all to CAD Swiss franc. I'm going to click OK, and then I am going to do File, Save As, and I'm going to rename this CAD CHF. So the first thing I want to take a look at is my support and resistance. So I have one of my charts is just the candles. So to get the support and resistance, I am going to scrunch it up. It doesn't look like we have more than 2 weeks of data in here. Not quite sure why it's so limited. Let me take a look. Should have 300 days, but I'm not sure why we're not. Oh, it must be up higher. That's why I'm not seeing it. There we go. Let's crunch it up. So support and resistance, I am looking for spots where the lines touch, where the lines seem to stop. So right in here, I've got the line stopping. Right in here, the line stops. Line stops here, stops here, stops in here. On a 60-minute chart, these lines tend to be about 30 pips apart. So it stops here, stops here, stops in here, right in here and here. And let's get a line above. and below. Stopping in here, in here. Now let's take a look. So in the last, from about 3 days ago, we've got a little bit of a downtrend for a day and a half, but in the last day and a half, we've basically been in this channel. So I'm trading either in an up channel or a down channel. I've got 14 pips till I hit this line, and I have 20 pips, 19 pips till I hit the support line. I want to know how much room I have till I hit each of these, because the likelihood is if I take a down trade, I'm going to bump into this line. It's not going to go further, so I don't want to take more pips than the market's going to give me. So right now, if I were to take a down trade, I've got 23 pips. Up trade, I've got about 10. So knowing that, let's go back. Oops, and let us. Oh, I keep hitting the wrong button here. Move this guy out of the way. We have a down signal. So now I want to take a look at what my, I've got 20 pips down, a little over 20 pips down and 10 pips up. This is a down signal. On my 5-minute chart, I am overbought. I've got the double cross starting to go down. I have up pressure though. And what's the rule about pressure? I don't want to trade against the pressure. 30-minute, I've got up going into the channel. I got sideways pressure. Sideways here generally means that this candle is going to retrace this candle over here. So that's telling me there's a little bit more up here. And this guy, instead of going down, is going sideways. Looks like he's changing his mind. And although red is on top, it's not very much on top. They're just kissing there. If I look to the 120 chart, I'm overbought also, but these lines haven't crossed yet. I don't have the strong committal, plus I have still up pressure. So I don't like this trade enough, so we're going to pass. So what I did is I saw the partial signal. I started to call this guy going down, but he wasn't going down. I did my point calculation. Then I went and did a more detailed analysis, and in that detailed analysis, I didn't like it enough. Again, some of the best trades you make are the trades you don't take. We don't always have to take a trade. It just, again, you only need 2-3 good trades a day, and you're going to be making money. So I don't like it. As we're within the top of the hour, within 10 minutes of the top of the hour, let's see if we have any thick orange line trades. Thick orange line trade is a little bit different in that we're only going to really use 2 of the indicators. We are going to use the thick orange line, and we look, this number to the left here is the scale on the thick orange line, and it goes from 0 to minus 100. I am looking for this number to be from 0 or minus 100, or 10 points within either end. So here we're at 44, so that's a no. This is a pretty easy one. We can scan it in 3 minutes and see if we've got a trade. But again, we only want to take it when there's less than 10 minutes left. Right now there is 8:27 left, so we're right within that time, and I want to take it as close to the top of the hour as I can. A couple weeks ago we took it a little too early, and it lost, but when I took it on my live account, as soon as we got off, it won. So 0. So 0 is the first condition. If I have a 0, that means the the orange line is telling us there's no more up in the movement. It's going to start going down. But again, going back for that consistency, we want something to confirm that to us, that yes, there is no more up in the movement. And the way I get that is I take a look at the majors and minors, and I look to see all 4 of these lines are touching or above the blue. And indeed, I've got it. So I've got condition 1, I got condition 2. This trade is good for 5 pips. So we're going to take a sell on the Great Britain Pound USD, a sell for the 5 pips on the thick orange line trade. Let's see if we have any other trades also. Minus 93. That's within 10 of minus 100. All 4 lines below. So we have a AUD USD buy. Dollar franc, no. Dollar, it's minus 56. Dollar yen minus 12, almost, not quite though. And Canadian, US Canadian minus 29 is no. Let's see if we got anything else here. Euro pound minus 85, no. Australian yen minus 88, no. Minus 30, no. Minus 100 on the Australian New Zealand AUD and NZD. Yes, and I got all 4 lines below, so that is a buy. Minus 40, no. And Australian or Euro Australian. We've got minus 5, which is within 5 points of within 10 points of 0, and I've got all the lines above. All right, so we've got 4 trades. Let's go ahead and take them. Take a trade. I open up my CoinEx. First, I've got to open up the chart. So the pound dollar is right here. Risk management. This is a demo account. You can see up here. It has $8,400 in it. To determine how much of a trade I should take, I move the decimal place over 4 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I could take a lot size of 0.8. On a lot size of 0.8, I want to keep my margin above 1,000%, so I could have 2 open trades. Since we are going to be taking 4 trades, I'm going to reduce that margin. I'm going to reduce my lot size to 0.4. 0.4. So that means each pip is going to be worth $4. Each pip is worth $4. If I had a lot size of 1, if I had a $10,000 account, and I took a trade for a lot size of 1, that would make each pip worth $10. So to take 4 trades, and I want to keep my margin in line, I'm going to reduce the lot size by half, so I have enough margin to do all of this. So to do that, I highlight the pound dollar. I click New Order. I'm going to change this to 0.4, and it is a it's a sell. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and take all the sells, and then I'm going to go ahead and add in the stop loss and take profit. So the second pair was Australian USD. Australian USD. I don't see him. File. I click file. It shows me the charts. Australian USD. It opens up a new chart. I don't like that screen, so we will use this screen. I am going to do a new order, 0.4 buy. Australian NZD, file, new chart. I scroll through the pairs. I don't see him there. Don't see him here. Australian NZD, here he is. It is a buy. New order. Lot size, pair is correct. Buy. And what was the fourth one? Euro, AUD. So file, new chart, AUD, or Euro AUD. Oh, no, what is it? No, Euro. Excuse me, Euro AUD, right here. Again, and this is going to be a sell. Now that I've got all four, we didn't take this trade, so we will close this so I can see them all. I right click on the order. I go to modify, and this is good for 5 pips. 5 pips is 50. I'm going to put it a little over 50 because I'm going to check the math in a second. But this will do this will get me close to the number by putting 51 in here. 51 points is 5.1 pips, and I want my stop loss to be 4 times that. So 20 pips. 20 pips to convert it to points. I add an extra 0. Click here, and then if I got in at 23.67 and it's a sell, I'm going to go to 23.62. 23. Oh, it's already jumped. Well, we'll leave that. This guy's already. Oops. Let's just keep going. Australian. Right click, modify, 5 and 200 or 20. I got in at our one closed. Let's see here. AUD USD. I got in at 60.99. It's a buy, so if I add 5 to this 99, I'm going to go to 10. Let's see, 104.4. Modify again, because I need to tell the broker where I want them to close the trade. And when I place the trade, it has a 0-0 for the stop loss and take profit. So on that thick orange line trade, it is good for 5 pips. I'm going to check the addition. Here I was at 102.56. It's a buy, so I'm going to add 5 to the 56, so I'm going to go to 61. So 101.02, 61.5. I'm not as concerned about the stop loss being exact as I am about the take profit, since this is kind of such a short trade. Modify 51, and I got in at 1.79612, so I'm going to go to 66. One 796. Oh, it's a sell, so I need to take 5 away. So I'm going to go to 79562. And all right, so this morning we took 4 trades. One of them is already closed. 3 of them are still open. You can see my margin level is 1,800. I always want this to be above 1,000, and that's because I reduced my lot size because I knew I was taking 4 trades. We can go back and real quick take a look at what the signals are on those trades. On the pound dollar, this guy at the top of the hour was 0. And you can see when the hour changed, I just went back an hour, he changed by 25. Some traders will actually wait until the hour changes, and they'll want to see this move by 10. In this case, it moved by 20. So let's look at Australian USD. We were at minus 99. It changed by almost 50, and is starting to come back up. So that would be all right. Australian NZD, which is over here. Australian NZD was minus 100. The top of the hour, he went to minus 84. So he's coming back now. So we should be okay on this guy. And EUR AUD minus 3, and he's gone to 33, and he's starting to come down. So we should be good on those. All right, any questions? All right, excellent. Thanks for being with me this morning. Stay safe. Remember, wash those hands. Do the thumb thing, do through the fingers. Practice your social distancing. And we will get through this. One of the great things about trading is we can do it from home. So until next week, if you've got any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you next week.